Hello, how's everybody? Good. I wanted to begin this morning by thanking the Baltimore City Fire Department, the Department of Public Works, our emergency management teams, who yesterday got the call around 3 o'clock, I think it was 3:30, about, at first it was, I think I heard a building collapse, but it was working on a pipe, private contractor, and a young man, as you all probably know by now, underneath the piles of mud. And I think I met them around 4:30 yesterday afternoon, close to 5 o'clock yesterday, while they were digging and trying to find this young man. I got a chance to meet his parents as well. He was 20 years old. He was 20. It was a long night. It was a very long night. It was about 1:30 in the morning when they finally discovered this young man, and it was about 4 a.m. when they finally retrieved him. I think by that time, about 30 minutes before then, that most of the family members had decided that they did not want to see. I think his aunt stayed until the complete end. I know his father was there as well. But I just wanted to say thank you to them, because they worked tirelessly through the night. And just was a reminder of the dedication of the people who work for us. And I left at 4 a.m. and I know that they were going to stay to assure that the area would be safe. And so I did get a chance to thank them for their work and to let them know how proud we are of them. But having said that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the things that are going on this summer for our young people, because oftentimes you hear that there's not enough to do for our young people. So I want to share this video first. You know, it's interesting when you ask people how many rec centers we have in the city. You'll hear anything from 5 to 10 to maybe 20, but we have 43 rec centers throughout the city. And there's a lot of programs going on this summer, and I wanted to make sure that we know about them. I thought we handed out at one point the brochure for Parks and Recreation, our summer program, but I was going to have them share some of the programs that are going on this summer, and that goes along with, and I think you'll hear from the Office of Employment Development for our Youth Works program, where we are in terms of the numbers, and in terms of employment, and I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. We have designed and engaged our city youth through recreation and enrichment programs. You know that we've extended the hours at the rec centers. We have a drone academy that's going on, STEM focused. There's also a STEAM program going on. We had Rhythm and Reels, which has over 100 concerts that will be going on throughout the city. 9 organizations came together to host some 60 free events, drawing more than 30,000 people. Now we're in our 3rd year. 20 partners will host over 150 events at 40 locations this spring and summer. There's the $5 5K, so we can keep people exercising and working out. And then we've got a number of sports programs, including the Be More Night Hoops, that's our nightly basketball, and the Baltimore City Football League with the Baltimore Police Department. And then we have a 8-week program of camps with different activities for our young people. And of course our pools, the Big Splash opens June 23rd. Every pool in the city will be free for the first session from 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then there'll be some special summer events, Twilight Swim, June 29th on, I don't know what the Sharon Bogues tournament, or somebody will talk about that. And then of course, the Druid Hill Farmers Market every Wednesdays in September. And then we have a number of other activities. So I was going to have Bill Bondersock talk a little bit about those, the summer programs.
This Bill is at another event. So
okay, so you're gonna share that, Bob. Bob. Is it? Okay, go ahead.
So just Bob Wall, Baltimore City Department of Rec and Parks, Chief of Recreation. So the overview is Baltimore City Rec and Parks is gearing up for an exciting summer, bringing back all our camps, rhythm and reels, the $5 5Ks, as again, Camp Baltimore. We have the BCRP new program, the drone program, the community choir this year, which is new under the leadership of Davon Fleming, Baltimore's own Davon Fleming from The Voice, and of course our extended hours. We have many events going on throughout the summer. We welcome everybody to attend these events. We're looking for an exciting summer of lots of activities for the kids and for adults as well. So I don't want to repeat anything else that the mayor has included on this.
Sounds like the same notes I had.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the Sharon Bogues tournament. I could bring up Rashawn Brave to talk about that if you want. That would be, I think, appropriate at this point, with bringing in Muggsy Bogues as well.
Does anybody remember Muggsy Bogues? Yeah. See, she did.
Yeah. So every summer we celebrate our co-worker Sharon Bowles, who passed away much too early. Like we said, Muggsy Bowles' sister, he comes up and his family comes up, we celebrate. In that celebration we do a basketball tournament, single elimination tournament, as well as a flag football tournament that happens. We're very proud of this event. Usually we have live bands that come up and perform and performances. So it's a very proud event. It's going to be on Wednesday of June the 27th. Please come out and be a part. I also like to invite Daryl Sutton to talk about Rex.
Thank you. My name is Daryl Sutton. I'm the Chief of Aquatics and Chief of Recreation for Rec and Parks. Another event we'd like to call to your attention is BALT. It's an opportunity that we have for the youngsters to participate in business, art, leisure, and teamwork. It's a new initiative at the centers after hours at the rec centers in Baltimore City this summer. So we look forward to serving the kids not only during camp, but in the evening hours.
So what is BALT?
BALT is business, arts, leisure, and teamwork.
Okay. So, so what will we be doing? What will you be doing?
In the rec centers, what we do, we encourage the kids to come in and we help to develop those aspects. We help the kids work on business. We help the kids with arts, as music, regular arts and activities such as that. Leisure activities, of course, you have your teens who are a little quite different from what the small kids do. So we're quite creative in finding activities for those guys as well. And teamwork is a big part of what we do as we deal with kids through all neighborhoods. Teamwork in some cases is just the missing element that makes us successful. So when we bring the kids together in the evening, we ensure that we touch on those components to allow these kids to become productive citizens.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Jason, come on up. I wanted to, so what were you all doing on Sunday? It was pouring down rain. I know what you were doing. What were you all doing? It was pouring down rain on Sunday. What'd you do?
Make sure my house didn't flood.
Made sure your house didn't flood?
Caught up on some work.
Caught up on some work?
Yeah, I was actually sick, so I just slept all
Oh, poor thing. Shame.
I liked it in the morning.
Oh, okay, you could have joined us. Okay. So what I did on Sunday in the pouring down rain is play golf. But I played it for Youth Works. And 90 golfers, we raised $100,000 for Youth Works. And so I thought I'd have Jason bring us up to date in terms of where we are with Youth Works for the summer.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be here again. YouthWorks is getting very, very close. The first session of YouthWorks starts in less than 3 weeks. Get both a little bit of excitement and a little bit of a lump in my throat when I say that. And it will run for as you know, it will run for 5 weeks. Young people will work 25 hours a week for 125 hours total. So the 2 sessions, the first starts on June 25th, and the second session starts on July 9th. They're exactly the same number of hours. We just stagger the start dates because it works better for some young people and some employers to choose one and then the other. We will have at least 8,000 young people working this summer. That is a big number. It makes us one of the larger programs in the city. We'll have over 700 work sites across the city. Every kind of job that you can think of, from banks and hospitals and construction sites to help them out at trails with rec and parks. It's really exciting, and young people are excited to do that. But I want to make clear, to the mayor's point, it is not too late to invest. When the mayor was swinging her clubs on Sunday with 90 other brave golfers, and we received that check.
Came closest to the pin.
Yeah, one closest to the pin. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What that meant to us, when we got that check on Sunday, meant that when we walked in the office on Monday, we were able to call young people and say, you have a job on the 25th. So I know that when we think about investing our precious dollars, we want to know what it's going to, we want to feel what that impact is. It's a job, and it's a job really soon. And when we call young people, we call the moms, and there's incredible excitement about it. And so we just want to make sure people are aware that it's not too late to invest, and we're excited for the summer.
What are the latest figures in terms of kids who have jobs, kids who have applied and are still waiting for jobs?
Do we have any that are still waiting? Because I know that a part of our young people who are going to go to work are also going to go into our study program for Community College of Baltimore, because we ended up with, I think, close to 500
yeah.
young people who have to get some remedial work before they go to college, so they'll be there. So we're closer to 9,000. I think we had 12,000 that actually went through the process.
About 11,500.
11,500 that went through the process. A gap of about 2,000. Mm-hmm. So we still can use the help, and we're still raising money. We still have some prospects out there that haven't confirmed as of yet. So, it's 2 sets of work opportunities. So we're still pushing, and we'll continue to push.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions for YouthWorks? All right. Thank you all. I also wanted to take a moment to, as you all know, Ellicott City flooded. We heard about it all over the news. We didn't hear much about what happened on Frederick Avenue. And I can tell you, I got the calls late Sunday night, and people were just up in arms and wanted to know. In fact, first, I got a call from the President of City Council, wanted to know if I knew what was going on. Yes, I do. Councilman Burnett, yes, I do. Delegate Haynes, yes, I do. We were there early Monday morning. Emergency Services, David was there on the ground before then. But I want to thank these folks behind me because, and I'll have them share some of the things that took place, because I can tell you, I walked through there early Monday morning. I came back Monday afternoon, Tuesday. I think if you were to talk with the residents there, they could not have been more proud of the response of this team. I think within 24 hours, it didn't look like the storm that it looked like when I first came through. Cars seemingly almost underwater, trees underneath of cars, people. I will never forget the gentleman who was sitting on his porch, and he was telling me that he was retired and how devastating this was to him. And then many of the neighbors who said that, they were just glad to see us there. We set up our emergency centers. We called in the Red Cross. We had the state insurance agency department there to answer questions for our residents. We cleaned out the area. We cleaned off lawns. So, David, you want to begin by sharing?
So good morning.
Public Works.
Good morning, everybody. David McMillan, Emergency Manager for the city, Director of Emergency Management. I'm thankful to be serving the citizens of Baltimore and Mayor Pugh during disaster recovery and coordinating this effort. We're talking about debris removal and recovery, but I also would be remiss if I didn't thank the brave members of the Baltimore City Fire Department who helped rescue 21 people from this incident. So it was a very serious incident, and we're blessed that no one was injured or killed. But while God blessed us to get out of that, at the same time, you need well-trained experts who are brave and efficient and effective in doing their responsibilities when they're under fire in those kind of situations. So I thank the fire department, Chief Ford, for that. Regarding recovery, the team behind us has really been indispensable in getting recovery going for the citizens. Director Rudy Chow, DOT Director Michelle Porchot, just debris removal. We got it out of it in less than 24 hours, which anybody who's in this business of emergency management recovery could tell you that's very fast. I think we have continued partnership with the community. We've been very good in communicating and finding out what their needs are. Particularly, I want to thank Pastor Mike over at Still Meadow Community Fellowship Church for his leadership in bringing us in, giving us a location to run our operations from, giving us comfort, food, water, bringing the community in. The mayor's leadership, we had a very good, productive meeting Monday morning, letting the citizens know what our actions would be, getting the agencies in play. I want to thank the private nonprofits and faith-based community for helping to fill this gap between what the city can do for citizens in recovery and what they need, particularly Team Rubicon, which is a group of military volunteers who come in and they're dedicated over time to serving their community. Steve Anderson, Rob Paganelli from Rubicon helped organize. We've also had faith-based community, Southern Baptist Convention Disaster Relief Group. George Blevins helped coordinate with them. They're coming in to do muck out, clean out, recovery. Red Cross, Tessa Lovro, Chris Hoover, their leadership and support, food, meals, sheltering for citizens. It just really takes a unified effort between government and leadership and the community leaders, faith-based, private, nonprofits to get through recovery with this. I would say before I step away, for any citizens who still need help, help is on the way. If you need muck out or clean up, call 443-285-2908, and one of our partners with the private nonprofits can come in and help you with that. If you've had more than a few inches of water in your basement, it needs to be remediated. So take that seriously. We have help so we can try to get away from any increased mold or hazards. Just as soon as any water that got in from the storm needs to be remediated, things that touch that should be thrown away. Be careful with that. And you can look for more information on our Twitter about how to deal with mold or contaminated materials. And 311, use the 311 SR system to put in information about where your debris is. DPW will continue to do pickup. And if you want to donate funds, donate to the private nonprofits. Donate to Team Rubicon, donate to Southern Baptist Convention Disaster Relief or the American Red Cross. And I want to thank all those volunteers for their time and efforts.
Thank you. Mr. Chalmers, Public Works, DPW. You look different, by the way, when you're on the ground. You look different when you're doing disaster relief. You have baseball caps and everything, jeans and all. I just wanted to say thank you all. You did an excellent job. I didn't know if anybody else wanted to share anything. Okay. I also have to say to the Violence Reduction Initiative, last night when we were out, Mr. Chalmers, DPW, Toby are part of our Violence Reduction Initiative, and so everybody has developed these really great relationships, and the fire department said to me, we need some lights, and so there's this running, it's not a joke, but it's about moving the lights to different parts of the city, and they'll say, Toby, we need lights, or Mr. Chalmers, we need this, and they said they called Mr. Chalmers and Toby, and the lights were there in an instant. So again, thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Madam Mayor, is there any estimate in terms of the cost of the damage and cost of the cleanup?
Is there an estimate?
No. So we've been working with the agencies on a preliminary damage assessment. Primarily, that's a process to get the estimate for MEMA, Maryland Emergency Management Agency, and FEMA. And we're a little over $2 million right now, which would put us above the threshold by which we could get assistance from the federal government. But that's a whole process that we'll be leaning on MEMA to help us navigate. And the impact, we will continue to find out more as we go forward.
You are definitely going to file for federal assistance?
The governor will be basically applying for that. So we'll put.
Because they did declare it a state of emergency, that area, yes.
So looks like we will hit our thresholds, but that's their area of expertise.
Yeah, the lieutenant governor came through as well, because we needed them to see how the streets, holes in the streets, pieces of the streets were floating down, which banged up against people's cars, pushed trees underneath of folks' cars, yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Any questions for me?
Is there going to be an investigation into the collapse on this?
Oh, I would think so. They were taking pictures last night, so I'm sure that those photos will be turned over to the proper sources. I know that OSHA will come in and take a look at that. I don't know to the extent of what takes place next. That's probably better answered by the fire department.
There's some, the Board of Estimates approved a supplemental appropriation to the Baltimore Police Department, as it does typically every year. Obviously, there's some concern raised that that's money that we use for affordable housing. And how can you address the annual payment that has to go to the police department? I think this is covered over time, am I correct?
Yes, and a couple of things. There is money. We are setting up the Affordable Trust Fund. There is a board that's being selected. There is money being dedicated to the Affordable Trust Fund. But as you well know, and I think I mentioned this earlier when I came on board, there is a shortage of police officers in Baltimore City. And it's not that we don't have folks who want to apply, because we do have a class now in the academy. You know, we've graduated, I think, at least 3 classes since I've been here. But freezing those police positions for 2 years, when you have an attrition rate of 20 to 25 police officers, really puts you at a deficit. It will take us almost, as I estimate, at least 3 to 5 years to catch up to where we need to be. We are allocated for about 2,800 police officers. We don't have that at this point. If we had that, we wouldn't have as much overtime as we have. And so we're at about, my understanding is around 2,100 actively engaged police officers, which again puts us about 700 police officers under. It's still a problem. And until we can get a hold of that problem, and as you also know, the shift piece that's in the collective bargaining piece is, in my opinion, for a police force that is fully employed, where you have all of the police officers that you need, and we don't have that. And so it creates a tremendous problem for us.
That's the 10-hour for.
The 10, yeah.
Which hasn't changed.
It has not changed. We're still in negotiation.
From what you can see, Madam Mayor, is this money being spent correctly? Are police officers going into overtime and using that money properly? I mean, are they working the way they should be working? Are they doing everything they should be doing to make sure that overtime is done properly?
So we know that there's an audit of the police overtime. There's also a staff evaluation taking place currently, which is also being required by the consent decree, because we do need to make sure that our police officers are doing what they're supposed to do. There has been less overtime in the last few, in the last few months in terms of costs, but it is a problem. But I still believe that until we get our staffing where it needs to be, but I can tell you this, in our community listening tours, when we have conversations with people in the communities, what they're saying to us, what they want to see are more police officers. And what they also are saying is that they're seeing more police officers walk the beat. They want police officers walking the beats in the communities, developing relationships with those individuals. And we talk about constitutional policing, that we're not harassing, that we're developing relationships, and that we are moving in and out of communities in a more strategic and relational way.
Can you talk about the overtime decreasing over the last few months? Do you have any numbers?
I can get you those. Okay.
I mean, one way to reduce the overtime would be just to reduce the number of police officers who are deployed at any given time, but it sounds like that's not really an option.
Well, I think the problem is the shift piece. The city does not control the shift piece, the 10-4. So you've got, 4 days on, 3 days off? It presents a problem for us.
But instead of having like 400 officers working patrol on a day, you could have 300 instead, and then you'd need less overtime. But it doesn't sound like anyone's considering that so much.
I think there are a lot of things for consideration, and I think if you have a conversation with the commissioner, he would probably be able to help you better with that.
Madam Mayor, the Sun put out a story today kind of tracking chronic absenteeism in schools in Baltimore City. Their figure is 37.2%. So how do you address that problem? How do you go about trying to make sure kids are going to school, and that when trends are picked up that certain kids are missing a lot of time in school, that you give them whatever help or assistance they need to get to school?
Well, first of all, I'll have a conversation with our CEO of the school system. She has the day-to-day responsibility for our school system. You know, we support the school system in every possible way that we can. You know, one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that we do keep our children in school, you know, by virtue of, you know, the programs and so forth that we're supporting for the school system. But I think that's a question better answered by our CEO.
I mean, when issues like this arise, I mean, obviously the CEO is in charge, of course, but when issues like this arise, what responsibility do you feel like you need to take or feel like you have to take to fix a problem in the school
So,
system?
as you well know, it's just like when the schools flooded before. It's not our responsibility to run the day-to-day operation of the school system. To the extent that we partner and make sure we're supportive, that's what I'm going to do. You know, I don't, we now have appointees to the school board, you know, program and making sure that our children are interested in what's being taught in the school system and that we're tracking our children every day, which is why we set up even just recently when we did the program for our children when they graduate. As I've said to our CEO, we need to know every minute of every day where our children are, so that when they graduate this year, as you well know, we set up a jobs fair for them. We made Baltimore City Community College free. We've got programs for them in the summertime because I can control that period of time in which our children are out of school. But so we try to work together, and so we'll continue to do that. And so I say that, you know, we want, one of the reasons that I wanted to move the compulsory attendance age to 18, which I did at the state level, it took me 7 years to get it done, is because I did not want to see children out of school. Better to have children in school and help them with whatever their issues are. And I think what I was able to prove at the state level, it costs the state less money to keep our children in school, provide them with the counseling and the programs that they need, than it does to have them out of school, in trouble, incarcerated. It costs more money. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, one more question. The current acting commissioner expressed interest in the job. Are you considering Dr. Bender?
He will be in with all of those who are contending for the position.
Have you got any details on the search and how you're looking for?
Yeah, we will engage a national search. We've got folks from all across the country who are interested in the position. There will be a listening tour, and there will be a 7-member panel who will make the selection of 3 who will come to me, and I'll make that decision after that. Thank you.
Are you considering Mr. Raymond, can we ask you a question real fast about budget stuff? Is that okay?
Okay, yes.
Okay. So we know the board voted today on $4 million from speed camera revenue going towards the fire department. Can you just talk a little bit about the need the fire department had there in terms of the extra revenue?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Henry Raymond, Director of Finance. The supplemental related to the fire department was to address overtime issues within the fire department. So that was the necessity for the $4 million supplemental.
And I can tell you, the flooding is a perfect example of that. They play a very important role. The emergency management team is a part of the fire department. Last night, 12 hours straight, our fire department worked. You know, we've had more fires than usual, and it creates overtime. But these are things that we have to do as a city. We have to respond to the citizens.
So the more fires had an impact.
7-member panel. Who are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
It's specifically related to fire suppression and emergency medical services. Okay. Yep, thank you.